News starts with breaking news.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Peggy Finnegan. We start with breaking news about the latest COVID cases in Allegheny County. In the last 48 hours, 1,400 new cases were reported to the health department. New cases ranging in age from 1 week old to 102 years old with a median age of 46. All but 24 tests were given in the last week, and there were 4 more deaths. This afternoon, Governor Tom Wolf and the Health Secretary, Dr. Rachel Levine, will give us an update on COVID cases in the state. That's at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and you can watch that here on Channel 11 News. We're also going to stream it on our news app, and then tune in to Channel 11 News tonight at 5 for the latest. So cloudy and cold this afternoon. Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Danielle Dozier is tracking where there are a few spots of snow. Danielle.
Peggy, taking a look at our Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar, there are a few light snow showers in portions of Butler County, Eastern Allegheny County, and Westmoreland County, but you got to really zoom in on the radar to see where they are because it's such fine precipitation out there today. We're going to be tracking those in the forecast for the rest of the afternoon. Temperature-wise, we are sitting at 31 in Pittsburgh. We've got upper 20s and low 30s across the region right now, and today the temperature will not climb a whole lot. A forecast high only of about 33 degrees. And the winds will make it feel even colder. So we're going to talk more about your wind chill forecast for the rest of the afternoon. Plus, I've got a look at our Steelers game day forecast when I come back in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you. Chills, body aches, a cough, all of those are symptoms of COVID-19, but they're also symptoms of the flu. Now, there's a test to help you figure out which virus you have. That test is made by Quest Diagnostics. Here's what you need to know. First, you must be experiencing symptoms. Next, you're going to need to contact your doctor because they need to write you a prescription for that test. Quest will mail it to you. You swab your nose, you mail the sample back to Quest. Again, this is only for people who are experiencing symptoms. Symptoms of both the flu and COVID-19 include fever, cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, and sore throat. If you don't feel comfortable collecting the sample yourself in your home, there is also an option to go through a drive-through testing site. According to Quest Diagnostics' website, the test costs about $130. President-elect Joe Biden has formally announced key members of his health team. He named his picks for Secretary of Health and Human Services, Surgeon General, and CDC Director. Those positions will need Senate confirmation. The president-elect's team also confirmed Dr. Anthony Fauci will serve as Chief Medical Advisor on COVID-19 to the president. He will also continue to serve as Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. COVID testing continues today in Butler County. Look at that line. That's where the state's strike team is right now. This is Chopper 11 over the testing site at Michelle Krill Field on Friday. The cars lined up with people waiting to be tested. Testing is a first come, first served basis. No appointments needed. The site is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. through tomorrow. Developing now at noon, time is running out to get help to Americans who are reeling from the coronavirus pandemic. Channel 11's Jacqueline Fell shows us what's on the table as Congress seeks a relief deal before heading home for the holidays.
Negotiators worked through the weekend on a plan to bring relief to struggling Americans and businesses as the coronavirus tightens its grip on the country. Lawmakers are looking to tie a relief deal to a must-pass spending bill to keep the government running past Friday. Unfortunately, things are not moving as fast as leaders would like. I'm told we could see House members staying another week in D.C. to get everything done. While talks have fallen apart in the past, most lawmakers seem hopeful.
If you look at our food pantries, you look at unemployment, all of those things, the American people are hurting, and that means Congress should act.
We've got a delicate balance. I call it the seesaw or the teeter-totter. Both sides have given and both sides have received.
Included in the relief deal would be federal unemployment benefits, business loans, billions for hard-hit states and hospitals, and money for vaccine distribution. It does not include another round of stimulus payments. Reporting outside Washington, Jacqueline Fell, Channel 11 News.
Nearly 1 million doses of a COVID vaccine are ready to be used beginning tomorrow in the UK. A batch arrived this weekend in London just a few days after the vaccine was approved. The UK is the first Western nation to approve the Pfizer vaccine. Pfizer says that vaccine about 95% effective. The FDA could approve the vaccine for use here as soon as Thursday. The state updated its COVID-19 quarantine guidelines to match new CDC rules. The new guidance shortens the quarantine time from 14 days to 10 days. If you test negative, you can stop quarantining for 7 days. We asked a local doctor to explain the change.
The data that we have that are allowing us to change these the quarantine recommendations, the fact that we're understanding when people become ill, and we realize that when you think about a 14-day quarantine, it is very hard for people to comply with, especially in the setting of the fact that those last several days are probably very, very low risk.
And keep in mind that the state travel advisory is still in effect. So if you leave the state, in most cases, you're going to be asked to produce evidence of a negative COVID test to return, or you are supposed to quarantine for 10 days. Are you ready for some late afternoon Steelers football? They take on the Washington football team at 5 this afternoon at Heinz Field. That game was pushed back because the Steelers weren't able to play their previous game until last Wednesday. The Steelers at 11-0 are trying to defend their perfect record. Attorney General William Barr is thinking about resigning. That according to a source with knowledge of the issue. The person says Barr is not happy with President Donald Trump and his, quote, bullying. Aides to the president say he's frustrated with Barr for saying a Justice Department investigation found no evidence of widespread voter fraud in the November election. Even if Barr chooses to remain in his position, President-elect Joe Biden will assemble his own cabinet after his inauguration. Happening today, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear cases brought by victims and family members seeking compensation for property they say was stolen in the Holocaust. The court will decide whether the cases against Germany and Hungary can proceed in U.S. courts. At issue is a federal law that allows lawsuits against foreign governments when property is taken in violation of international law. The outcome could lead the way for similar lawsuits against other foreign nations. The U.S. Justice Department agrees with lawyers for Germany and Hungary who say those cases should be dismissed. Facebook is overhauling a program aimed at blocking hate speech. It's going to focus more on minority groups. The project is known as WOW, or Worst of the Worst. It will use new algorithms to prioritize anti-LGBTQ and anti-Black comments over anti-white comments. While the social media giant has always monitored hate speech, it will now treat comments directed toward minority groups as a more serious offense. A new scam is making the rounds, and this one targets college students. Channel 11's Mike Holden explains what you need to look out for.
It is a major warning coming out from the Federal Trade Commission. They say crooks are targeting college kids on social media sites like Facebook and Twitter with a check cashing scam. They say don't fall for it and don't believe anything you're seeing online. The promise is simple, a well-paying part-time job for college kids struggling during the pandemic. Many of them are off campus and completing coursework online from home. The scammer will reach out, posing as a professor with a .edu email, so it seems legit. Once you agree to whatever the job is, they'll send you a check, ask you to deposit it, send some of the money to someone else, and let you keep the remainder of the payment. The problem is, the check is totally fake. Eventually, your bank figures out the check is counterfeit, and they take the original amount out of your account, plus whatever you sent to someone else. The Federal Trade Commission and Better Business Bureau say they are seeing this quite often because so many students are learning remotely and desperately trying to make up for lost income due to COVID-19.
Be skeptical of any unsolicited job offers, especially any offers that are requiring you to pay money in order to receive money, that are pressuring you to deposit this payment.
So what is the #1 way to spot this scam, and why are they targeting college kids? I'm working on that part of the story for Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock tonight. Reporting this afternoon, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
Right now, a search is underway for the person who shot and killed a Butler County native as she drove to work to care for ICU patients. The family of Caitlin Kaufman is desperate for answers about why she was gunned down on a busy Tennessee road. Kaufman was working in Nashville, but she grew up in Chicora. Police found her body inside her SUV parked along the highway last week. They found bullet holes in the car, and she had been shot several times. Kaufman was a student athlete at Clarion University. The university sent us a statement saying Caitlin embodied all of the characteristics of a model student athlete. She was a tenacious competitor. Her family told Channel 11 their hearts are shattered and that Caitlin was living her dream. No one has been arrested. Governor Tom Wolf ordered flags to fly at half-staff today for the 79th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. That includes the United States and Commonwealth flags on all state facilities, public buildings, and grounds from sunset to sunset. And the ceremonies in Hawaii will look much different this year. With aging survivors, they don't want to risk their health, so they will not gather. But the Navy will hold a moment of silence and live stream speakers. On December 7th, 1941, Japanese bombers attacked Pearl Harbor, killing 2,400 Americans and drawing the U.S. into World War II. Not while they're already down. The big obstacle private ambulance companies are facing as they try to care for COVID patients. Online fundraisers have gotten more popular since the pandemic started, but are they legal? Why, some say virtual giving may actually be against the law.
33 degrees this afternoon. That's all we get to, but I'm going to let you know what the Steelers will be facing as they take on the Washington football team later on today.
The pandemic has changed how organizations do their fundraising, and it has some local nonprofits turning online, but Apparently that could be considered illegal. According to the state's Small Games of Chance Act, you are not allowed to use credit cards for gambling, and that means organizations can't accept credit card payments for things like virtual raffles. There's a push in Harrisburg to change that law. Until then, leaders say it's really best for groups to accept cash or checks only. A New Jersey COVID-19 testing facility was raided. It was allegedly using the wrong type of tests on patients. The lab had been advertising rapid tests for antibodies and for the active virus. Patients who were tested got a finger blood test, but the FBI raided the facility, saying the tests are for antibodies only and shouldn't be used for diagnosing active cases.
I think giving fake inaccurate tests it just makes a bad situation 10 times worse, because you're putting really people at risk, and you're also giving people a false sense of security. I think it's horrible.
Infinity Diagnostics is now closed. The FBI is urging anyone who tested for COVID-19 at the facility to be retested just as soon as possible. Costco is keeping its shopping hours for senior citizens after a surge in COVID cases. Most locations will allow at-risk groups only from 9 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Costco was one of the first retailers to require masks. Last month, they updated policy to no longer make exemptions for shoppers with medical conditions.
The flatbed I'm in is currently loaded with bicycles.
And they are all going to local kids for Christmas. Tow trucks filled the streets in Carnegie Sunday, all loaded up with the gifts. Channel 11's Lori Hoy talked to the group behind this unique toy drive called Tow for Tots.
It's the season of giving, and after months of collecting toys, tow truck drivers from the Pittsburgh area gathered together to deliver all of these presents.
The towing industry is a giant family. There might be, competition, but at the end of the day, we're a family. And to come together for something like this is just amazing.
Many of the tow truck flatbeds are loaded with brand new kids' bikes and boxes of toys, while bag after bag of toys are donated by people in the community and even superheroes.
We didn't want to do it this year because of everything going on with the pandemic, but we felt that with everything going on, that these kids needed our help more than ever this year, because it's just a bad year for everybody.
And the special delivery did happen. It was an unusual sight as a caravan of tow trucks escorted Santa's sleigh and gifts from Carnegie to Uptown Pittsburgh to the offices of Every Child Incorporated, which provides foster care and adoption services.
It feels good to be able to give back and really help out kids and give them things that they might have not been able to have.
This is the 5th year for Tows for Tots, which started with 12 tow trucks and has grown 10 times that. Lori Hoy, Channel 11 News.
They've been owned by the same family for 30 years, but now the WOW outlets in Hempfield are up for sale. They are home to World Values and Central Westmoreland Habitat for Humanity. The owner told our Trib partners the sale doesn't mean that the businesses have to close. He says the family is getting older and they may move out of the area. There are a lot of power outages in New England because of a nor'easter that came through on Saturday. Parts of Maine, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire got about a foot of snow. That made it too dangerous for some power crews to go up in buckets, but they did manage to get some people back online yesterday.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Peggy, I know you have family and friends that live in eastern Massachusetts, so hopefully they are doing all right. I know I talked to my aunt, and she lives outside of Boston, said she had a large tree fall down because the winds were whipping due to that nor'easter. Well, here across our area, we have been stuck in a rut with the cloud cover over the last couple of days. Over the weekend, we had some spotty light snow showers, and much can be the same out there today. We have the cloud cover out there right now as you are looking live over the city, and we have our visible satellite, which shows the cloud clouds that are moving across our area this afternoon. That thick cloud cover is set to stay for the rest of the day today, and we'll be dealing with that overnight tonight. Storm tracker Doppler 11 radar does show some spots of snow, but you have to look really closely at where you're seeing a little bit of that gray shaded color. This is in northern Butler County, portions of eastern Allegheny County, I'd say, also into Westmoreland County. We've got a little bit of that light gray showing up, and that's where we have the very spotty snow that is occurring. It looks light in intensity in most locations as of right now. We'll keep checking back and let you know if anything changes. Over the next few hours, if you're making a grocery run, maybe you want to get some chips and dip for the Steelers game later today, here's what you can expect. Hour by hour, we're looking at those temperatures in the lower 30s, and we'll keep the clouds and we'll keep a chance for some spotty light snow showers. Our forecast wind chills, though, this afternoon will be in the mid-20s. So this is what it's going to feel like as you walk out the door, and this is because of the wind. The wind will be anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour. I think by midday, though, it'll come up to about 10 to 15. So it'll increase just slightly as we head into the afternoon. The reason we have the chance for these spotty light snow showers today is because we have a weak weather disturbance. It's a low pressure system basically at upper levels of the atmosphere. And as that moves on through, we have the chance for a little bit of moisture coming in off of Lake Erie with our wind flow out of the northwest. The Steelers taking on the Washington football team this afternoon at 5 o'clock. The temperature kickoff right around freezing, and it'll hover there through much of the game, falling to about 30 degrees by the end of the game. And yes, it'll feel colder, as I mentioned, because those winds will still be a little bit breezy out of the northwest, and there will also be a chance for some spotty light snow. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy. Overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, you can expect temperatures in the upper 20s, so the heavy coats in order once again for tomorrow morning. And tomorrow afternoon, we're only climbing back into the mid-30s. So it's going to be another cold and below average day for us on Tuesday. I think we're going to have a fairly cloudy sky once again, and not a whole lot of moisture to work with as our system departs the area. So I expect most locations to stay dry, although we can't entirely rule out a flurry or two. Tomorrow you can see the area high temperatures across the board ranging from 35 in Pittsburgh to Butler and 36 degrees in Washington. My 5-day forecast, your weekend always in view, and we have a warming trend on the way, which will actually feature eventually some rain coming in for the weekend. So I'm going to have my latest storm tracker maps hour by hour walking you through the timing of our next weather system, bringing the rain on Saturday and the potential for some snow showers by Sunday.
New recommendations for student athletes, when they should be wearing face masks and when they should not. And tough decisions in Philadelphia, why a homeless ministry closed its doors at a great time of need. For the first time in a quarter century, a homeless outreach center in Philadelphia has to close its doors. This after volunteers and staff there tested positive for the coronavirus. Chosen 300 Ministry packed up after yesterday's service. Brian Jenkins, the ministry's director, a volunteer, and 2 staffers all tested positive for the virus. The ministry serves 1,500 meals a week to the city's homeless.
Here we're an organization that is doing our best to be responsible, to care about the well-being of others, because it's just more than just us.
The director went on to say that closing was really a tough decision because the homeless and food insecure, they need their services now more than ever. If you need to get food for your family this week, you can get some. In Duquesne, the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank is hosting a drive-up distribution today. It's from 3 to 5 p.m. at the food bank on North Linden Street. You do have to register in advance. Each family will get 1 share of food. That's about 50 pounds. There's another distribution tomorrow at Pittsburgh Mills Galleria in Tarentum. Prantle's Bakery has a new owner, and they plan to open another store. According to the Trib, the bakery was sold in October, and the owner is close to opening a store in his hometown of North Huntington. The new location will be at the corner of Route 30 and Robbins Station Road. It will join 3 others in the region. The original Shady Side Bakery, the one in Market Square downtown, and there's also one in Greensburg. College grads getting a break. The new deadline for them to start paying back their loans and spreading hope and helping local businesses. The new local program that intends to do both. Some breaking news right now, and it's sad. In the past 15 minutes, we've learned 2 Port Authority workers have died from COVID-19. One patient worked out of the East Liberty garage. His last day working was on the day before Thanksgiving. The 57-year-old died yesterday, and the Port Authority says the second patient worked at the Collier garage. He passed away this morning, only 34 years old. Governor Tom Wolf and Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine are holding a news conference at 2 this afternoon about COVID. You can watch it. We're going to have live coverage for you right here on Channel 11 News. We're also going to stream it on our news app. Then tune in to Channel 11 News tonight at 5 for the latest. Spreading holiday cheer and helping local business. That is the goal of a new program in Pittsburgh. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond explains how it works.
Let's take a walk down memory lane. Remember when this sidewalk out front of the Kaufman's building downtown used to be packed with people? Everyone wanted to see those holiday window displays. They're not like there used to be. They're empty now, and other windows coming to life throughout the city now are doing more than just spreading holiday cheer.
And to just see like a little bit of magic when you're walking down the street, like spotting the pierogies. There's so many great storefronts down here that need just like a little bit of holiday magic.
Kelly Sanders co-owns the store Love Pittsburgh. If you walk by the location on Liberty Avenue, you'll notice all these ornaments in the window. Local artist Katie Dement created the display. This is just one of 13 businesses decorated for the holidays by 13 artists. It's part of the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership's latest initiative to bring people into the city in an effort to help local businesses.
It's definitely been a tough year for us, but luckily, the messaging has been to support local businesses, and because we are a local small business that carries over 100 local small businesses, people have been coming to us.
Some of the other businesses participating include Nicholas Coffee and Tea, Fresh Nostalgia, and Heinz Healy's. You get to pick who has the best display. And yes, there's a friendly competition with this. Tonight at 5, find out how you could get involved, how you can vote for a winner. And yes, there's a grand prize. Find out what the winner takes home tonight at 5. Reporting in downtown Pittsburgh, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Danielle Dozier joins us again. And Danielle, it's kind of a cloudy, cold, kind of yucky day.
Yeah, it's another gloomy afternoon for us. It's definitely feeling like winter here in Pittsburgh. Of course, the winter solstice later on this month, so not technically there yet, but Peggy, yeah, it does feel like it out there. When we take a live look over the city, we've got a temperature at only 31 degrees, which is running below the average of low 40s. You can see regionally, we're all socked in with the cold air. And we're looking at our wind chills right now, which factors in the wind. And we do have wind chills in the 20s. So you're going to need to layer up before you head out the door to walk your dog this afternoon. The temperature will be right around 33 degrees for a high and then falling slowly as we head into the evening. But really, they're not going to fall a whole lot overnight tonight because we do keep the cloud cover around. I am going to show you in my next weather segment. I'm going to let you know what to expect as far as the forecast for tomorrow goes. We'll take a look at our season-to-date snowfall, and I have that hour-by-hour look at your weekend timing of that rain coming up.
And new at noon, Pittsburgh is getting $10 million to prevent landslides on Mount Washington. The money is coming from FEMA. According to Senator Pat Toomey, the money will be used to stabilize the hillside and keep traffic flowing between Mount Washington, the south side, and Duquesne Heights. The Allegheny Sheriff's Office Firearms Division reopened today. We told you when that office closed after an employee tested positive for COVID-19. Walk-ins are allowed from 8 a.m. to noon today through Friday. Anyone who missed an appointment during the week the office was closed will go to the front of the line. Student loan payments are suspended through at least January 31st because of COVID. This means interest rates on the loans will stay at 0% and borrowers will not be expected to make payments through the end of January. The help was set to expire at the end of this month. If your child plays a sport, they should be wearing a mask during practice and games. That's a new recommendation from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The agency says face coverings have been shown to decrease transmission of COVID-19, and they say most kids tolerate them well when worn during exercise. Doctors say masks are especially important during indoor sports. The Academy doesn't want kids to wear masks during cheerleading or gymnastics competitions because it could get caught or impair their vision. Private ambulance companies are facing significant hurdles during this pandemic, and one of the biggest is money. Hospitals and nursing homes received more than $30 billion in federal COVID relief. At the same time, private ambulances got only about $350 million.
To put it in perspective, the same proportionate ratio that, say, a dentist's office has received, our frontline providers who are out there working every day to protect their communities receive that exact same percentage.
Private ambulance companies say one of the best ways everyone can help is just by washing your hands often, wearing masks, and social distancing. From disaster relief to feeding and clothing the homeless, the Salvation Army is known for an almost endless reservoir of helping those in need. But as so many other areas of life, 2020 is throwing the Army some unique challenges. NBC's Phil Rogers has the story.
In this virus-infected year, the need has never been greater.
It takes a great deal of humility to walk into the doors of an organization such as ours and to say, I can't provide for my kids.
Major Caleb Sen told us this year's pandemic is impacting giving while bringing thousands of new clients to the Salvation Army's doorstep.
And they say to us, I've given to that kettle. I never thought I'd be the person receiving from the Salvation Army.
The numbers are astonishing. The Army's Chicago fundraising goal this Christmas season, $25 million, fully 70% of the agency's annual budget. But there are fewer kettle locations this year because of the virus. With fears of a drastic reduction in giving this year, when you do spot a kettle, it will feature a touchless option to pay electronically. And more donations are now being taken online. With 7 children, Rebecca and Vincent Cusimano have seen the Army's generosity firsthand.
Open arms and they don't judge no matter what.
They brought us a crib. They got the car seat for the baby. They're there through ups and downs of every incident in life. Whether you ask or they just know.
For more than 150 years, a lifeline for the community. And this year, they have never been needed more.
We were here before COVID, and we'll be here after COVID to help every person in need in our community.
The Salvation Army says 82 cents of every dollar goes directly to services for those in need, and all that money for the kettles stays local. We'll have more information on how you can help locally right on WPXI.com. A live look at Pittsburgh this afternoon. We've got some positive news about jobs in our area. The Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission is working to expand awareness of the state's new Move Over law. That law is designed to reduce accidents caused by traffic stops, disabled vehicles, or other road emergencies. The law doubles the fines from the previous Steer Clear law. It also clarifies that you need to move over, and if you can't, you need to slow down to at least 20 miles per hour under the speed limit. The new law goes into effect in April. The First Commonwealth Bank in Leechburg is closing for good this Friday. Our partners at the Trib say it is a result of the pandemic and more customers banking online instead. The First Commonwealth drive-thru on Market Street will also close. That makes the closest branch for folks in Leechburg about a mile away in Allegheny Township. We have some good news about the local economy. The Pittsburgh metro area is outpacing national numbers when it comes to job recovery. The new report by Allegheny Conference on Community Development found that our area lost 202,000 jobs between February and April. By September, 69% of those jobs were regained. That is 6% higher than the national average. Unemployment rates vary from county to county. Butler is on the low end, Fayette is on the high end. For many, the holidays mean stress, especially this year. Ways to enjoy the season safely without freaking out.
And it's cloudy and cold out there. Coming up, I'm going to let you know when we're finally going to see some sunshine across the area.
Before 2020, the stress of the holidays was limited to a whirlwind of gift-giving, holiday parties, overeating. Now every move we make could expose loved ones to a deadly virus. Experts say it's okay to think of yourself and your family first. NBC's Dan Sheneman has the details.
The most wonderful time of the year.
Holidays traditionally bring a lot of fun, merriment, and connection.
Is also one of the most stressful.
There are so many decisions to make about getting together, skipping the holiday, and not everyone is on the same page this year.
Oh, God! I'm a butcher!
Families used to traditional gatherings may have to break tradition this year.
So we have to come to an acceptance about that. Every family has to do their own risk assessment to decide what they feel comfortable with and what they do not. And no one can make that decision for you.
Holiday gatherings may be smaller or virtual, but Amy Morin of Very Well Mind says challenges are a chance for creativity.
That might mean that you video chat with your family on the holidays. It might mean that you send gifts in the mail rather than exchange them in person. Or it might be about creating some new traditions this year, too.
And if the holiday season is too stressful, experts say, don't be afraid to seek some help.
And in today's world, that might mean turning to online therapy because it might not be safe to see a therapist face-to-face, but having a third party to talk to, getting some support from someone else can be really instrumental in helping you feel better.
Experts also suggest keep everything in perspective.
No one has ever died from a guilt trip, but they have from the coronavirus. So we have to look at the big picture here.
The right attitude can make these holidays happy and healthy. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Good advice. Well, if you were looking forward to driving your new 2021 Ford Bronco up the driveway this spring, you're going to have to wait a little longer. Ford is delaying the launch until next summer due to the coronavirus. They're causing problems in the supply chain. The 2021 Bronco is one of the most highly anticipated vehicles from Ford in years. Ford says about 150,000 people have already pre-ordered it.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Storm tracker Doppler 11 radar, and where you're seeing some of those gray specks move across the screen, that's where we're detecting some very light snow moving through the area. Those of you that are in Westmoreland County, you've been seeing some of this, as well as Fayette County, and I am expecting the chance for some minor snow accumulations in places like the Laurel Highlands and the ridges as we head into tonight, as we do have the mountains interacting with the moisture and the wind direction to give us a little bit of accumulation there. The rest of us, no snow accumulation is expected, and anything will be spotty today. Temperatures, you're looking at them right now. We're in the 30s across the area. Just like yesterday with the cloud cover today, these temperatures will not budge much this afternoon. Forecast high only 33 degrees, and it will feel colder, as I've been mentioning, because of those winds that will be out of the north-northwest, anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour. They do increase on the model data, it looks like, as we head into the mid-afternoon. Speaking of the spotty snow, well, it has been spotty with the exception of the last big snowstorm we had, where we picked up 6.8 inches of snow officially in the Pittsburgh area. Here's a look at our updated season-to-date snowfall. You can see we've seen 7.6 inches, and we are actually 4 inches above average on snowfall. Low temperatures tonight, we're looking at mid-20s, a chance for some spotty light snow. Otherwise, it's mostly cloudy. You can see in Pittsburgh tomorrow morning, 27, so make sure you have your heavy coat on as you head out the door. Morning planner, hour by hour, shows the temperature near 30 degrees at 6 o'clock, 29 degrees at 7 a.m. As far as the forecast tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at mid-30s, so really not much different than what we have out there today. It'll be mostly cloudy, west-northwesterly winds anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour can be expected. So yes, that'll make it feel a little bit colder once again for your Tuesday afternoon. Car washing forecast over the next couple of days. It looks good as we head into the next couple of days. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. As I mentioned, there could be a flurry or two, but the moisture is very limited across the area, and our main weather system is moving out, but it's not out of the question that we see that tomorrow. So I've got caution for the day on Monday, and then Tuesday I've got wash it, just again maybe a few flurries. Wednesday looks good and Thursday looks good. In fact, we're actually going to be dealing with a warming trend across our area. We'll focus our attention once we get past today to the weekend, because we do have another weather system that's going to be bringing rain and snow to the picture. This is the latest timing I have on just one computer weather model, showing you more toward the afternoon and evening that rain moving in on Saturday. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the timing if you do have any plans this weekend. Notice how we head into Sunday, and you can see the legend. We start to see more purple and gray across the area. That's because I expect temperatures to fall throughout the day Sunday, so some much colder air will come in. In the meantime, look at this. By the end of the week, we're looking at temperatures in the mid-50s by Friday, and some sunshine actually returning by Thursday. Your weekend forecast, temperatures will be in the mid-50s Saturday with some showers, cooling on Sunday with scattered snow developing in our forecast.
Well, the first sample collected from material under the surface of an asteroid is on Earth. A capsule landed in the Australian outback yesterday. The Japanese Space Agency retrieved the sample from a near-Earth asteroid. Scientists believe studying asteroids can help them determine how life began on Earth.
I was just shocked. I was like, my mind was racing.
Christmas came early for that young boy, the stranger who helped make his hoop dreams come true, and more. Here's local steals and deals, Lisa Robertson.
Hey, I have something that is perfect for right now. Gift-giving season is upon us. And if you read all the articles, what they say is people today want experiences. How do you give someone an experience if they're not leaving the house? I can help you with that. This is the Arts of Christmas box, and it is actually kind of a virtual trip. It's an experience where you get to experience the Holy Land in ways that you never have before. And I love everything in here because everything in here is something you get to use and experience and learn and eat and taste and talk about and all those kinds of wonderful things. So this is Shava tea, peace and tranquility. It's a wonderful traditional tea in that part of the world. Shakshuka blend. This is a wonderful hand blend of 8 different spices that makes up a traditional breakfast dish in that part of the world that everybody talks about when they visit. This beautiful organic handmade soap. It's actually made by a mother of 3. And she went to school to learn how to make fine soap. She now sells them there in Israel, and now you can experience that here. This cross is made from olive wood that is 150 years old. Isn't that amazing? A game made by a grandmother to help her grandchildren experience that country. I mean, this amazing apple pomegranate honey spread that was made by farmers, and all kinds of great information. And this is something that you can give someone, and it is an experience. I was lucky enough to be able to help my parents take a trip to the Holy Land a number of years ago, and they had the most amazing time experiencing the culture and the history. To be able to give someone that experience without ever having to leave home and have it be something you can all do together. The whole family gathers around, you open up the box, you try everything, you talk about everything, and you learn about everything. I love that idea. Right now on localsteals.com, the Arts of Christmas box is 20% off, and it's an experience you will all remember and absolutely love.
A young boy who loves basketball and now has a new ball and a new hope thanks to a FedEx driver named Aubrey. 11-year-old Elijah Main loves to play basketball even when all he had was an old rusty hoop. Well, then he came home to a big surprise, a new hoop delivered, set up, and ready to use thanks to the generosity of a total stranger. A FedEx driver delivering in Elijah's neighborhood in Indiana saw him playing on the old hoop and decided to help out. She paid for a new one out of her own pocket.
I'm super thankful. I realized that there's not only like bad people in the world, there's a lot of good people.
Elijah's mom says the surprise, couldn't have come at a better time. Like so many families, she said their finances have taken a hit because of the pandemic. And as for the driver, she didn't want to go on camera. A calendar filled with young superheroes is coming out again this year, and here's a sneak peek at one of the local kids that is featured in it. This is Sean Rovers of the South Hills. His superpower is displaying courage. He fought 2 rare brain tumors. He's part of this year's Superheroes Believe in Miracles calendar. A nonprofit puts together calendars for the last few years featuring local kids battling any kind of illness. Sean turns 13 in 2 weeks. We wish him well. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Again, we'll cover that live news conference 2 o'clock today by Governor Tom Wolf. You can watch it here or on our news app. Then tune in to our newscast tonight at 5. Thanks for joining us, everyone.